What's going on, guys? Sonny Pastor. Tonight I'll be presenting on food delivery and the internet. Alright, so let's start with the origins. Alright, so in either 1768 in Korea with cold noodles, or food delivery began in 1889 in Naples, Italy with margherita pizza. These are highly debated topics, still to this day. Alright, so early on in the 1950s, let's say, is really where food delivery began to boom in the United States. You know, cars, fast food restaurants were everywhere, and people began to be comfortable in their houses leisurely. You know, they were comfortable in not leaving their house, in their homes. So food delivery was very convenient for them because they didn't have to leave their home. Food would be delivered to them, you know, and most restaurants who implemented a food delivery system had sales increases of 20 to 50% in a year on average. So as time went on, you know, and African Americans began to get more civil liberties and weren't segregated against, the food delivery industry began to plateau. Why? Is really because, you know, now that African Americans were able to dine in, they were so used to takeout because they weren't allowed actually to sit in the restaurants that it was nothing new to them, and you know, sales kind of just stopped. Not stopped, but plateaued. All right, so plateauing, what was the solution? So as time went on, 70s, 80s, 90s, began to see pizza delivery men, Chinese delivery men, bringing in food to your house with a car. You know, no more pickup. Pizza shops started booming everywhere in the United States, right? So let's fast forward a little bit. Food delivery apps, you know, as the internet began to take place. So let's jump maybe 20 years, right? The internet kind of started with PizzaNet. It was a pizza delivery system they tried to implement with the internet. It failed miserably. Really, the internet didn't really impact food delivery much until, you know, the past 10 years. You know, a Cornell study in 2011 stated that there was maybe 10% of people ordering food from their phone, and it was maybe like Domino's, Papa John's, and that was still pickup or their own delivery person. But as time went on, we began to see Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash, Caviar, Postmates, others blow up. So who is using the food delivery apps? Well, it really boils down to, let's see, if we look at the facts from eMarketer study, we had 18 to 24-year-olds are the most likely to utilize food delivery apps, followed by 25 to 34. So it seems like it's the younger generations. You got the millennials, the Gen Zs, some of the Gen X lingering. And as the ages increase, the usage of food delivery apps decreases, right? So it seems to be young people for right now. So let's look at another study. So a Zion study, which is actually a study that was released a year after the previous study that I just showed, shows that the age range of 18 to 29 was the highest amount of users who utilize food delivery apps. And we could see that with this data, followed by, as the age increases, the usage decreases. So these facts were taken in the past 90 days. People utilized food delivery apps. All right, so also, who's using food delivery apps? So it's very interesting that in a similar way to fast food, consumers, that the lower your income, the more likely you are to order food delivery through these apps, which is actually fascinating. And, you know, if we can just look at, you know, people who are younger tend to make less money, you know, professions change and vary. But as we can see, you know, the younger you are, most likely to make less money than an older person who has a career, establish themselves, etc. And we can see that the more money you make, the less amount of food delivery apps you'll utilize and purchase. All right, so how often are these consumers using these food apps? So in the Zion study for 2018, the users who utilized food delivery apps in the past 90 days, 48% of those users use it at least 1 to 2 times in 90 days, and it increases, and we have people using it 11 times in 90 days, which is fascinating. 7% of people did that. So now let's talk about the corona effect. Right now in 2020, August, we are suffering from a global pandemic called COVID-19, coronavirus for short. So the idea with the corona effect is that, as you can see in 2019, food delivery app users, 36.4 million, right? So now restaurants shut down in terms of you can't go in, you can't dine in. So now people are forced to be at their houses. They're at their homes, they can't do anything, and they can't go out to eat. So what does that mean? They're gonna have to order food delivery. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna order food delivery and utilize these apps. So we can see that the usage increased actually 25.2%, jumped up. Now experts are saying this e-market study that if the country does open up in 2021 in terms of restaurants allowing like dine-in seatings, etc., we're gonna see a little decrease, and they believe it's gonna be because of the excitement of being able to go out to eat again and all that. But as the years go on, the trend of users using food delivery apps is gonna remain increasing. So more people are gonna use it, as we go into the 2020s. All right, so the future and beyond. So a big part of food delivery apps and the future is the fact that restaurants used to fear the commission rates. Article after article, study after study, they're talking about there's going to be a commission fee of 15 to 30% going to the food delivery app. So every time you order from McDonald's or Pizza Hut and you're utilizing like Uber Eats, they're getting 15 to 30%. And restaurants are losing money on this, and a lot of mom and pop shops, smaller businesses are suffering. So now what people are doing is they're implementing the idea of ghost kitchens, which you see in the middle. So a ghost kitchen is basically a restaurant that offers no dine-in seating. So it's all takeout based. It's just a kitchen. You have screens up here with the orders. It's pickup only. You go there, people pick up the food, and that's it. There's nowhere to dine in. Pizza Huts are rolling these all out in Delaware County. There's one in Upper Darby. Also, there are Columbia University researchers who are utilizing a similar idea to the Amazon locker bins. The basic idea would be you order food through an app, they send you a code, and they'll tell you, oh, your food will be ready in 20 minutes. So you take the code, you go to the storage bin where the food will be prepared and it'll be stored in there and it'll be kept warm or cold. Say you get ice cream from like Cold Stone, it's gonna be in there cooled, or if you get food, let's say McDonald's, it's gonna be heated up. You show up with your code, you punch it in, locker swings open, you grab your food, that's it. Also, Uber Eats has partnered with Dialoxia, sorry if I mispronounced that. They're a drone manufacturing company, and in July 2016 they were rolling out testing of drone-based delivery system. So we see a lot of drones as the next big thing. There's also smaller startups trying to get robots to take the most efficient route and basically roll down streets with a bin similar to this idea, but it's a bin, it'll show up at your front door, you give it the code, the door will swing up, you grab your food, swing down, the robot goes away. That's basically the basic idea of these things. But we can see how restaurants are trying to get around the commission fees, they're renegotiating, and yeah. Is there any questions?
What made you want to research this topic?
Yeah, so it all started last summer. I took CS 472, it's a computer networking class. There was an extra credit assignment. It was basically write a paper on how the internet affected one thing, and me being a giant foodie, I decided that I should do some research on the impact of the internet and the food delivery system. So that was a majority of like the history. When I got to do it for COM310, I really bunkered down. I got the facts straight. I corrected some of my mistakes from the last time. I put a whole pandemic section in. Obviously, I looked into the future. We got newer studies out, and we're seeing that, a year ago, if you're looking at these articles, people are fearing the commission fees, oh, it's the worst thing. But now what we're seeing is that people are getting around the commission fees. They're renegotiating their contracts. McDonald's just renegotiated their Uber Eats contract. They're saving millions per month average, sources say. And what we also see is they're rolling out ghost kitchens because now they don't have to pay waiting staff for dine-in area to clean the resources. You know, maybe all they need is just a bathroom and someone to clean the bathroom. They don't need someone to clean the tables, do the dishes, etc. They just have the kitchen, they do the kitchen dishes, and that's it. But yeah, any more questions? All right, thanks, Sonny Pastor, and that was Food Delivery on the Internet.